Well, hello there everyone. I wanted to do a video, kind of give you a walkthrough of some builds I did, and maybe it'll give you some ideas, and maybe it'll give you some information on something that you're building. It's mostly with creating laptops and Raspberry Pis and 18650s. So let's see if I can help you out. If you may have seen some of this before, but I just think they're just awesome, and a lot of it is the Raspberry Pi. So I'll get started here and show you what I've done and see if I can help you out. So this is just a regular Raspberry Pi. It's a B3. It's kind of sitting on rubber right here because the fan makes a little bit of noise and the table's kind of hard. And I put a switch here so I can shut it off. And I basically took a lap dock, 14-inch Pro 500, I believe it is, and the lap dock was kind of had some issues, so I used the monitor, and so I just kind of built an aluminum frame back there, and if I can show you, I just ordered a inverter board or control board off of eBay. They're like 30 bucks, and they do an awesome job. Makes a pretty cheap monitor, and the controls, I just used Gorilla double stick tape and stuck the controls on right there. I actually double stuck the tape on the back, or the control board on the back of the monitor, and it just kind of sits here, and I use it like a desktop computer all the time with Raspbian on it. Close up here, I only have one solder joint, and it just works really good. Use it for a lot of YouTube videos. I have Raspbian on here with Chromium, and that just does an awesome job. So we're not going to stop here. We're going to move over to here, and this is another lap dock, and this is I want to say it's a Bionic. It's a 100 Motorola 100 lap dock. You don't see much videos on them anymore, and some of that could be because it seemed like some people were having some issues when they put the Raspberry Pi on here. I built a switch right here. But when they put the Raspberry Pi on, it gets all of its power from the battery that's in the board, and it's powered. That's a 12-volt battery there, and you use adapters here, and this gets it all down to 5 volts. But you know, the Raspberry Pi, it takes 2 amps, and I noticed that in a couple of really old videos, some people were trying to use these, but they'd boot up and they'd shut down. So I'm going to kind of go through this and show you what I've done to alleviate that problem. Let's see if it boots up here. Most of the time it may not boot up on, I'm using Ubuntu 16.04, and that was installed from Berryboot. And you can see here that it's not wanting to boot up. See, it just rebooted again. I'll do it one more time. And see if it's wanting to boot up. I'm kind of thinking it's not going to though. Yeah, see, it's wanting to reboot every time. So I'm going to shut the power off. All of its power is coming right from the battery that's in the board here. So what we're going to do, what I discovered, and you may already know this, but I just took one of these cheap little power bank with one 18650 battery in it. It puts out 1 amp, and I put some double stick tape on the back of it. You can see this. Put some double stick tape on the back of it, and got an adapter right there so that I can get it down to the micro USB. Put it in right. You think you can never tell which way you put them things in. So now all I do is flip my switch on, make sure the battery comes on, and that gives me just a little bit more boost. And this time it should boot up. Battery kicked off there. Some of these power supplies, sometimes they'll kick off in the beginning. By using these little extra battery banks, I mean, you wouldn't have to use this one. You could use any kind of battery bank supply, but this would make it portable, so you can, you know, lift it up and carry it to another room. So now you see it's all booted up. So now that I have this so-called extra little computer with Ubuntu on it, I actually hooked it up to the Wi-Fi or the router and turned it into a printer server. So now I don't have my desktop, which is basically out of commission. Used to have it turned on all the time. So this would be low energy. It's serving as a print server. I don't have to worry about another desktop being hooked up to it, and we can print from our laptops, you know, throughout the house or from anywhere. So that's pretty much my tip for this. It just does a great job. So since this is here all the time, and you know that battery's going to go dead, so eventually. So since this lap dock is going to be a permanent fixture, I just hooked up a little 5-volt power supply, plugged it into the wall, and plug it in here and just leave it plugged in all the time, so I have ample supply. Actually, I think the Raspberry, once it's booted up and running and it doesn't really not using any resources, it would probably stay running all the time, but just to be on the safe side and I want to keep the printer available, I leave the 5-volt power supply plugged in. So that's it with the Motorola lap dock. I think they're just an awesome idea. I think the 14-inch would have been better, but even I think this is a 12-inch. It's pretty cool, and they got a really sharp picture on them. So now, what I'm going to show you is this laptop right here. The iPad out of the way. So you would think that this was it's a Novellus 17-inch laptop. They're built in the East for corporations and stuff, custom made. However, this one here is really custom made. So it looks like a regular laptop, correct? But this one has a remote control. I don't know if you see that little light there. It's going to turn blue. And we're going to wait till it boots up. I bet you are expecting Windows XP or not XP, but Windows 10 to come booting up on this thing. But it's not a Windows XP. It's a Ubuntu 16.04, and it's a Raspberry Pi. As you see, I have a RII lap keyboard. So I basically took this thing and gutted it out and put the Raspberry Pi right there. And like I did with my other 14-inch laptop, this is a control board right here that runs the monitor. And actually the control switches I just left way down underneath the keyboard. And because this one here came with a remote control, and I can actually, you know, turn it off and on if I want to, or I can move the keyboard. So just carefully, after gutting it and carefully positioning things where I thought they would fit real good, I managed to get it all put in here. And this is a piece of, well, let me back up. Then I did some measuring and then cut out just part of it, left a hole in here so the keyboard could sit down in here. This kind of holds up the keyboard. This holds up the keyboard. There's a little edge here that holds up the keyboard. And so I left a lot of this here just so for support. But this is all this is the styrofoam you get from styrofoam board you get from Walmart. I just cut it out and set it in here. Then I can place the keyboard like right there, and I can still close it up. So that control board runs off of 12 volts. Just like the one on this here, it runs off of 12 volts. So I just have a 12 volt power supply back here, and it does not go over, it might go 12.1. So I actually took the battery pack, since it's at 12 volt 1, I took the battery pack out of here. I can get to it right now. I took the battery pack out and just rewired it so that I could get 12 volts. So 12 volts, and left the snap-in connection here, and just soldered it to a switch right here that allows me to charge the batteries with that 12 volt charger. And I can unplug that charger and it would keep on going, and it'll allow me to move it without being plugged in. And I've actually gotten a couple of hours of time running it off of the battery pack that's in here. You know, I've used the same, I don't know, I may have used some different lithium ion batteries, but I wired them so that they're in 12 volt configuration, 12.6, and I'm never reaching 12.6, but I am reaching 12.1, and it just works pretty good. It just allows me to move the laptop, and then if I don't want to charge the batteries, I just flip this little switch right here, and it just stays, it's just on the power supply. The switch is handy for if I left that switch on and unplug the power supply, then this inverter board stays on. It's kind of like a TV set. You know, it's never off. All you're doing is turning the screen off and on. So so that's why I have the switch here, so I can shut it off, and when I shut the power off on the inverter board, then I know everything's off. But it's a 17-inch high resolution, and it just does an awesome job. And since it's a Raspberry Pi, and the SD card is right there, I can pull it out and put Raspbian in there, or Osmic, whatever I want, and use LibreOffice on it. It's just awesome. I think it's pretty cool. So that's about all I really have to show you. I just wanted to run that by you guys and see what you thought, and if you like this video, it's it's kind of a short video, but if you like this video and you want to see some more, maybe let me know, and I'll I don't know if I can provide too much more detail on what I did. It's pretty much fly by the seat of your pants and make it all fit underneath there. Just like this. I just happened to plug an extra 5-volt power supply into USB, and it booted up. It had plenty of power. This one here has its own power supply. Come back over here. What's nice about this, using this one particular control board with the remote control, is it comes with a USB 5-volt power port on it, which makes it really nice and handy. And it also has HDMI, and this one here has DVI and VGA hookup, and I didn't really care about that because I wanted to use HDMI. But it has a 5-volt power supply, which seems to work really good for the Raspberry Pi. And you notice I have a heat sink on here. There is a fan, like a squirrel cage type fan blower blowing across here, and it seems to keep it pretty cool. Well, that's about it. I don't know what else to show you. This one here, this one I use a Bluetooth keyboard, and I don't know if I'd recommend Bluetooth keyboards. Sometimes they take a little bit to get going, but once you get them going, they work really good. So that's the end of my video. I hope it was informative, and I hope you enjoyed it. And if you want me to do more, leave a comment and a thumbs up. So we'll see you later. Bye.